Sarah woke before dawn, the sky still dark and silent. She sat on the edge of her bed and stared at the photograph on her nightstand. In it, she and her childhood friend Leo laughed under a bright summer sun. Now Leo lived hundreds of miles away in a new city with strange streets and tall buildings. Sarah felt a hollow ache every time she remembered his smile. The world outside her window felt too big without him close by. Each morning Sarah followed the same routine. She brushed her teeth, ate toast and honey, then walked to the park near her home. The path curved through tall oaks and wildflowers, the same route she once shared with Leo during their afternoon adventures. Now she walked. Alone, every rustle of leaves reminded her of his voice. Every birdsong felt like a question. Why did he have to go? Sarah tried to focus on her lessons, but her mind wandered. In math class, she pictured Leo solving problems beside her. In art, she imagined his brushstrokes on her canvas. Even the cafeteria seemed emptier without his laughter echoing off the walls. Her friends noticed her quiet mood and offered smiles, but Sarah shook her head. She wanted Leo's familiar grin, not polite nods from people she barely knew. After school, Sarah sat at her desk and opened her laptop. She stared at the blank screen where she had drafted so many messages to Leo. Each time she began typing, her fingers froze. What could she say that would bridge the distance between her small town and his crowded city? She worried her words would feel empty or dull. Frustrated, she closed the laptop and pressed her palms to her eyes. That evening, Sarah wandered into the attic to look through old boxes. She found Leo's hand-drawn map of their favorite walking trail. On the back, he had written a promise. No matter where I go, I will always find my way back to you. Sarah's heart swelled. She tucked the map into her pocket and felt a spark of warmth. If Leo believed in their friendship so strongly, maybe she could find a way to reach him. 2. In the days that followed, Sarah tried small steps. She wrote a letter on bright blue paper. She drew a little picture of the park bench where they once carved their initials. She added jokes that only Leo would understand. With each sentence, her hope grew. She addressed the envelope and walked to the red mailbox at the corner. As the letter slid inside, she whispered, "I miss you." When the reply did not come the next day, Sarah felt discouraged. She wondered if the postal service had lost it or if Leo was too busy. Yet she refused. To give up, she researched video calling apps and practiced her best greeting. "Hey Leo, guess what I did today?" She imagined his surprised face on the screen. The thought made her grin. That night, Sarah stayed up late. She charged her laptop, tested her microphone, and wrote down the time difference between their cities. Her eyes grew heavy, but she kept going. Finally, she set an alarm for the evening when Leo might be free. Then she lay down and closed her eyes, hope fluttering in her chest. The next day felt brighter. Sarah walked to school with a light step. Every time she thought of Leo, she reminded herself, humans never give up on those they care about. That was her strength. She could be patient and persistent. She could reach across any distance with words, art, or a simple call. She believed in her own determination and in the bond they shared. When evening came, Sarah powered on her laptop and opened the video call app. Her heart hammered as she clicked call. The screen rang and rang. Then at last, Leo's face appeared, framed by the glow of his desk lamp. His eyes widened, and then he laughed. Sarah laughed back, tears of relief and joy streaming down her cheeks. In that moment, the miles between them melted away. Sarah realized that feeling distant had pushed her to be brave. She had faced her fear of reaching out and discovered her own strength. In the simple act of pressing call, she reconnected with Leo and with her own hope. The world was still big, and the future still held unknown paths. But Sarah knew she could find her way. Guided by the ties of friendship and the human spirit's endless determination, Asterisk Myra stood at the edge of the playground. The swing beside her moving in the wind. Every day after school, she came here hoping to see Jonas, her best friend since kindergarten. But he had moved to another country 3 months ago. The swings were empty now. The slides were silent. Mira felt a dull ache in her chest. She missed Jonas's laugh, his silly jokes, and the way he always knew just what to say when she felt sad. At home, Mira kept Jonas's old notebook on her desk. It was filled with doodles they drew together and plans for adventures they planned to take someday. She opened the notebook and traced the drawing of their secret treehouse. Her fingers trembled. She wished she could climb that tree again and feel Jonas's hand steadying her when she was afraid of falling. Now the treehouse stood alone among rustling leaves, just like she felt, alone and uncertain. Each night, Mira stared at her phone screen. She had Jonas's new phone number, but she did not know if she should call him. What if he was too busy? What if he had made new friends and forgotten her? She typed messages and erased them. "Hi, Jonas," she wrote. Then she deleted it. She tried again. "I miss you." She deleted that too. Doubt filled her mind. She closed her eyes and wished she had the courage to press send. The next morning, Mira decided to try something different. She baked Jonas's favorite cookies, oatmeal, and chocolate chip and packed them carefully in a box. She wrote a letter explaining everything she felt, how much she missed him, how she longed to hear about his new life, and how she struggled to find her own path without him nearby. She decorated the envelope with stickers of stars and rockets, symbols of their shared dreams to explore space together. Mira took a deep breath and walked to the post office. Her heart pounded. She handed the box of cookies and the letter to the clerk. "Please send this to Jonas in Nova City," she said. The clerk smiled and nodded. Mira watched the box move onto a conveyor belt. She felt a spark of hope. She believed in her own courage. She believed that humans could reach across oceans and mountains with words and kindness. Days passed. Mira waited by the mailbox every afternoon after school. She read her letter again and again. She imagined Jonas's surprised smile when he opened the box and smelled the cookies, but no reply came. Doubt crept back in. She wondered if the cookies had melted or if his new address was wrong. She felt tears sting her eyes. Yet she refused to give up. She knew that hope was stronger than doubt. One afternoon, a small package arrived for Mira. Her name was written in neat, unfamiliar handwriting. She tore it open and found a slim envelope. Inside was a letter from Jonas. He wrote that the cookies had arrived safely and tasted just like he remembered. He missed her every day and wished he could return to their playground swings. He described his new school, his new friends, and how he had joined a theater group. Then he asked if she would video call him so he could see her smile. Mira's heart leaped. She ran to her room and set up her laptop on her desk. She pressed start video call and waited, her hands trembling. Then Jonas's face appeared on the screen. His hair was longer, and he spoke with a slight accent from his new city. Yet his eyes were the same warm, curious, full of joy. "Mira," he said, "I've missed you so much." Mira's tears of relief fell as she waved. They spent the next hour talking and laughing. Jonas showed Mira his bedroom, painted in bright colors, and told her about his theater rehearsals. Mira showed him her new sketchbook, filled with drawings of places she wanted to visit. They promised to write again soon, and to plan a visit during the summer holiday. As they talked, Mira felt that empty ache fill with light. They had bridged the distance, step by step, with courage, kindness, and hope. After the call ended, Mira sat in the glow of her laptop screen. She realized that feeling distant had taught her something important. Humans never give up on those they care about. Our strength comes from our determination to reach out, to share our hearts, and to believe in the bonds that connect us. Mira smiled at the silent swing outside her window. She knew that no matter how far apart they were, she and Jonas would always find a way back to each other. That night, Mira added a new drawing to her notebook. Two friends standing on swings, reaching out their hands across a starry sky. Underneath, she wrote Jonas's address and her own, a reminder that distance meant little when hope and human spirit were strong. She closed the notebook and felt calm. Tomorrow, she would share her life with Jonas again. And she knew that together, they could face any distance in the universe. Nia sat on her bedroom floor, surrounded by postcards and old photographs. Each picture held a memory of Jonah, her cousin and best friend since they were small. He had moved across the ocean 6 months ago, chasing a dream job in a distant city. Now he lived in a place that felt like another world. Nia traced her finger over a photo of them at the county fair, laughing as they held giant cotton candies. Her chest ached with longing. She wanted him near her again, but she did not know where to begin. Every evening after school, Nia opened her laptop and stared at the blank chat window in her messaging app. She could type messages, but the words felt heavy. What could she say that would not sound sad or needy? She worried that Jonah was too busy building his new life. She worried he had forgotten how they used to spend afternoons building model airplanes and talking about the stars. She shut the laptop and let out a slow breath. Still, she did not give up. On Saturday morning, Nia walked to the local library. With a notebook in her backpack, she took a seat at a wooden table by the window. Sunlight fell across her pages as she wrote a plan. Step 1. Send a small gift. Step 2. Share a memory. Step 3. Suggest a video call. She thought carefully about each step. For the gift, she chose a book of star maps, because Jonah had always loved astronomy. Her heart stirred at the memory of their childhood telescope nights. Nia spent the afternoon wrapping the book in bright paper. She tied it with a blue ribbon and attached a handwritten note. In the note she wrote about their first sighting of the Orion constellation and how she still remembered Jonah's voice whispering, "Look, there's the hunter." She signed the letter, "Your fellow star chaser, Nia." She felt a small spark of courage as she walked to the post office and mailed the package. Inside the library, she wrote an email draft to Jonah. She wrote slowly, choosing simple words. "Hi, Jonah. I hope you are well. I was thinking of you when I found this book. It reminded me of our stargazing nights. I miss you. Would you like to video chat this Sunday evening? I would love to see you and hear about your new city." She reread the message, fixed a typo, and pressed send. Her hands trembled, but her heart felt lighter. The days that followed passed slowly. Nia returned to her routine: school, homework, library, then home. Each time her phone chimed, her heart skipped. Finally, early one evening, her screen lit up with an email from Jonah. He wrote, "Dear Nia, thank you for the book. I opened it under my bedroom window and saw the same stars you saw. I miss you too. Sunday at 7 works great. Can't wait to catch up." Nia smiled so widely that her cheeks hurt. The distance between them felt smaller already. When Sunday evening arrived, Nia set up her laptop in the living room. She dimmed the lights and lit a small lamp. Outside, fireflies danced in the garden. Nia clicked join call and waited. The screen blinked, and then Jonah appeared. He was framed by city lights, with stars faintly visible above his balcony. They smiled at each other, shy at first, then broke into laughter. Jonah showed her around his room posters of planets. In a miniature telescope, Nia showed him the model airplane she had just finished building, painted in bright colors. They talked for more than an hour. Jonah described his new job at the planetarium, how he guided visitors through the night sky. He told Nia about the friends he had made and the new foods he had tried. Nia shared stories from home, her school play, her art club, and a surprise science fair where she had won second place. Each detail wove a thread that brought them closer. When the call ended, Nia felt a warm glow in her chest. She realized that though Jonah lived far away, their bond remained strong. After the call, Nia returned to her bedroom and placed Jonah's postcards on her desk. She felt proud of herself for reaching out. She had faced her fear of rejection and discovered her own strength. She wrote a new note in her journal. "Distance can test us, but humans always find a way to connect. Hope is our greatest power." In the soft glow of her desk lamp, Nia looked at the star map on the wall. She knew that no matter how far apart they were, she and Jonah shared the same sky and the same unbreakable spirit. Dev stood on the edge of the pier as the sun sank below the horizon. His heart felt heavy with the same weight it had carried for months. His sister Leela had moved to another country 6 months ago. They had been inseparable since they were children, building sandcastles, telling secrets under starlight, and racing paper boats across this very water. Now, the pier was empty, and Dev felt a hollow ache in his chest. Back at home, Dev kept Leela's drawing of the sunset taped to his wall. He touched its corners each morning as he got dressed. In the image, the sky glowed pink and gold, just as it did today. He smiled at the memory of Leela's laugh when they had painted it together. But now that laugh felt distant, like an echo. In a vast canyon, each evening, Dev sat at his desk and stared at his phone. He had Leela's new number saved, but he could not bring himself to call. He imagined her busy with work and school, making new friends and new memories. What if she no longer had time for him? What if she had forgotten the quiet moments they shared? His fingers hovered over the call button, and then he put the phone down with a sigh. On Saturday, Dev decided to try something different. He would send Leela a care packager, box of small gifts that reminded him of their adventures. He picked out her favorite tea, a small model boat, and a journal with blank pages. On the first page, he wrote a note, "Dear Leela, I miss you every day. These are things from home that I hope bring you comfort. I hope we can talk soon. Love. Dev." He folded the note, sealed the box, and took it to the post office. When the clerk weighed the box, Dev's heart pounded. He watched the box move down the conveyor belt, leaving his hands. It felt like releasing a bird into the sky. He believed in his own determination, believed that humans could reach any distance with effort and kindness. The week after, Dev returned to his routine. School, homework, then the pier, he wrote in his own journal. Hoping that keeping his thoughts on paper would help him find the right words for Leela, he wrote about the birds returning to the pier, the smell of salt on the air, and how he still felt her absence in every quiet moment. His pen moved with purpose, and each word made him feel braver. One afternoon, Dev saw a small envelope in the mailbox. It was thin, and the handwriting looked like Leela's. He tore it open and found a letter. Leela wrote that the package had arrived safely. She described sipping the tea while watching her new city sunrise. She thanked him for the model boat and said she had placed it on her windowsill. She missed their afternoons at the pier and asked if he would write again soon. Dev's heart soared. He realized that Leela had made time for him, even across so many miles. That evening, Dev cleared his desk and set up his laptop. Practiced what he would say before starting a video call. His palms were sweaty, but he felt ready. When he clicked call, the screen showed Leela's bright smile. Behind her was a window framing a view of tall buildings and distant mountains. They waved and said hi at the same time, their voices mixing in happy surprise. They talked for more than an hour. Leela showed him her new room painted sky blue, with shelves full of books. Dev showed her the pier at sunset, how the sky blushed pink for them both. They shared jokes about their favorite childhood games and promised to send photos. At one point, Dev realized that he had been holding his breath. Then he laughed a full, easy laugh and felt the hollow ache vanish. After the call, Dev sat back in his chair, eyes bright with hope. He realized that feeling distant had taught him about courage. He had reached across the world with a care package, a letter, and a call. He had discovered that humans are never truly apart when they choose to stay connected. Compassion and effort could bridge any gap. In the days that followed, Dev wrote in his journal, "Hope is the greatest strength. We can find our way back to each other, no matter how far the distance." He drew 2 small boats on the page, one for him, one for Leela, sailing toward the same horizon. He knew that tomorrow the sun would rise again, pink and gold, and that he and Leela would see it together, even if in different places. Standing once more on the pier, Dev felt calm. He listened to the gentle lapping of the waves and thought of Leela's laughter. He smiled, knowing that the bond between them was stronger than miles. The world might be vast, but the human spirit was greater. Still, and in that truth, Dev found his hope renewed. Farhan stood on his apartment balcony as the sun dipped below the city skyline. He wrapped his arms around his body as if trying to hold on to the warmth of a memory. Zara, his best friend since childhood, had moved to another country for university 6 months ago. Every evening, Farhan watched the sky and thought of the long walks they used to take, talking about dreams and future plans. Now the streets sounded quieter, and his heart felt heavy. He missed her laughter, her kindness, and the way she understood him without words. At his office desk the next morning, Farhan tried to focus on his work, but his mind kept drifting. Back to Zara. He glanced at his phone every few minutes, hoping for a message. He remembered how she would send funny videos and little drawings of the sun and stars. He smiled at those memories, but then the silence of his empty inbox made him wince. He realized how much he depended on her voice, her quick replies, and her steady friendship. Without her, the hours felt long and gray. During his lunch break, Farhan sat in the park where he and Zara had once shared sandwiches and jokes. Watched children chase pigeons and couples stroll hand in hand. He pulled out his phone and opened a new message to Zara. He typed, "Hi Zara, how are you?" Then he deleted it. He tried again. "I miss you." He paused, worried it sounded too simple. He feared she might think he was unhappy or clingy. His finger hovered over send, but he couldn't press it. His heart pounded with both hope and doubt. That evening, Farhan decided to take a bolder step. He went to a stationery shop and bought colorful paper, envelopes, and stickers. At home, he spread the materials across his living room floor, cut the paper into small cards, and wrote one simple question on each. "What made you smile today? What new thing did you learn? Can we video chat this weekend?" He decorated each card with little doodles, flowers, stars, and smiling faces. With every pen stroke, he felt more confident. He believed in his own creativity and in the power of small gestures. The next day, Farhan folded the cards into a bright envelope and wrote Zara's address on the front. He added a short letter on cream-colored paper. "Dear Zara, I hope you are well. I miss our talks and your laughter. Here are some questions so we can share our days. I hope they bring you a smile. Love, Farhan." He sealed the envelope with a gold sticker shaped like a star, Zara's favorite. At the post office, he watched the attendant drop the letter into the outgoing bin. The act of sending it felt like launching a paper boat across an ocean. Farhan returned to his routine. Determined, yet patient, he kept the faith that his letter would reach Zara each morning. He checked his mailbox, imagining the day he would find her reply. He focused on his work with renewed energy, remembering that humans could achieve great things with perseverance. He finished a project at the office ahead of schedule, earned praise from his manager, and even helped a coworker solve a problem. His own small successes reminded him of humanity's power to overcome distance and doubt. A small pink envelope arrived for Farhan. His name was written in Zara's familiar script. His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside was a card decorated with a shooting star and Zara's answers to each question. She wrote about a new friend who taught her to play guitar, a taste of her first homemade pastry, and how much she missed Farhan's jokes. At the end, she wrote, "Yes, let's video chat this Saturday at 5 p.m. my time. I can't wait to see you." Farhan's chest swelled with joy. On Saturday evening, Farhan cleared his coffee table, set his laptop on it, and plugged in the charger. He tested the camera and microphone, then arranged a mug of tea by his side. As the clock struck the hour, he clicked Start Call. The screen flickered, and there was Zara, her face lit by the glow of a lamp. She waved shyly, and then they both laughed, the same way they had when they were together. For the next 2 hours, they shared stories, sang songs, and made each other smile. After the call ended, Farhan sat back in his chair, feeling lighter than he had in months. He realized that feeling distant had pushed him to be brave and creative. He had sent a letter, asked honest questions, and opened his heart. In return, Zara had reached back across the miles. He looked out the window at the night sky and whispered to himself, "Humans never give up on those they love." In that moment, Farhan understood that hope and determination could bridge any gap, no matter how wide the world might seem. Raina stood at the window of her small studio apartment and watched the street lamps glow one by one. Her brother Amit had moved to another country 4 months ago. They had shared every meal, every joke, every late-night chat. Now Raina's kitchen felt too quiet and her phone stayed dark. She missed Amit's easy smile and the way he always knew how to calm her when she felt worried. Each morning, Raina carried her coffee downstairs and tried to start her day. At work, she typed reports and attended meetings, but her mind wandered back to memories of Amit teaching her to ride a bike in the park. She even smiled when she heard a corny joke on the radio, remembering how Amit would laugh so hard he'd nearly fall off his chair. But after the brief moment passed, loneliness returned. One Sunday, Raina found herself sorting through old photos. She held a picture of her and Amit building a sandcastle at the beach. She traced his face with her fingertip. A thought came to her. Instead of waiting for him to call, she could reach out first. Humans were brave and persistent by nature. She believed she could bridge the distance with a single step. Raina opened her laptop and searched for Amit's new address. When she found it, she wrote a letter on thick, cream-colored paper. She told him about her work project, the flowers blooming in the park, and the new book she was reading. She asked about his life in the new city, the foods he tried, and the friends he had made. At the end, she wrote, "I miss you. When can we talk?" Then she slipped the letter into a bright yellow envelope and walked to the postbox. For days afterward, Raina went about her routine, but kept one eye on the mailbox. She practiced positive thoughts. Humans never give up on those they love, she whispered to herself. One afternoon, a letter arrived from Amit. Her heart fluttered as she opened it. He wrote that he had been thinking of her every day and missed her laughter. He described his new job, the tall buildings he saw every morning, and how he learned to cook spicy curry just like hers. He asked if she would video chat that very evening. That night, Raina set up her laptop on the kitchen counter. She brewed a cup of tea and lit a small candle. When the call connected, Amit's face appeared, framed by the warm glow of his room. They both laughed at how much they had missed each other. Amit showed her the view from his window, a river winding past skyscrapers. Raina showed him the blooming roses in her window box. They talked for hours, sharing stories and plans for a visit. When they said goodbye, Raina felt a gentle warmth fill her chest. She realized that hope and human determination had carried her across every mile. Distance could test them, but their bond was stronger. And as long as they reached out, they would never truly be apart. Kai sat on the rooftop garden as the evening breeze rustled the leaves. His friend Amina had moved to a distant city for work 8 months ago. Every night, Kai watched the sunset and remembered their shared promise to chase dreams together. Now the sky was wide and empty, without her laughter beside him. He replayed their last day together in his mind, standing by the river, Amina smiling as they skipped stones, talking about future adventures. After she left, Kai tried to call her. Many times, he left voice messages full of questions and stories, but her replies were short and slow. He felt his courage shrink each time he saw a scene on his screen without an answer. One morning, Kai found himself sketching the city's skyline and his notebook buildings glowing in sunset pink. He doodled 2 figures on the rooftop reaching for each other. A spark of hope lit in his chest. He knew humans could cross any distance with effort and kindness. He decided on a new plan. That afternoon, Kai gathered small items that reminded him of Amina, a smooth riverstone, a pressed wildflower from their garden, and a handwritten note. He wrote on bright paper, "Dear Amina, I miss our talks under this same sky. I hope these things bring back memories you love. Do you join me for a sunset call this Saturday?" Folded the note carefully and placed everything in a small box. He mailed the box and waited. Each day he trusted that hope was stronger than doubt. He worked on his art projects and helped his neighbors with small tasks. He believed that humans always rise by supporting one another. Finally, a message came. "Kai, your package arrived," and it felt like a warm hug. "I'd love to watch the sunset with you on video this Saturday at 7 p.m. my time." Kai's heart soared. When Saturday came, Kai settled on the rooftop with his laptop. As the sun dipped below the horizon, he clicked call. Amina's face appeared, framed by her own sunset sky. They smiled, laughed, and shared dreams again. In that moment, Kai knew that distance could not break their bond. There. Hoped their human spirit had found a way back to each other.